Yeah.
Indeed.
Welcome to another episode of The Discussion. And you are now rocking with the bad guy, aka Captain Caveman, CJ Dove, and my esteemed colleague, the self-proclaimed good guy.
I'm just a good guy, baby.
Mr. Fats himself.
I'm just a good guy, baby. You know what I mean?
Day.
I'm just a good guy, baby. What's up, bro? How you feeling today, man?
What's going on, kid?
It's been a long time, man, since we've been over here in the studio, man, rocking with the folks, man, doing the, you know what I mean, the 1-2 thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, it ain't been that long.
It's been a long time, bro.
It ain't been that long, you know. We had a few setbacks, you know. COVID kind of, put a halt to things a little bit, but
Right.
And we still persevered through that.
Right.
We still managed to do a show,
Right.
show or two. You know what I mean?
Man, I need to borrow your mouse. I left my mouse, man, and I can't get my stuff up.
Yo, so you a mouseless ass.
I'm a mouseless dude today. I cannot operate or function without my mouse, and maybe I just need a new keypad.
Well, I'm so
A whole, you know what? I'm gonna just go and purchase me an Apple computer. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm so sorry that you're not able to function as well without your mouse. But I have faith in you that you're gonna get through it with your.
I can't get through it. I need to pay something to this page, and I can't do it. It won't let me do it. So.
Well, I will let you get my mouse, but mine's is
In play right now, huh?
it's mine.
You can't just unhook and say, boom, let me throw it in there real fast. Let me let you do what you got to do. Then boom, you get it back. It can't be one of those things, huh? It's got to be. You got to have it all to yourself. Cause I forgot mine, and you want me to be.
It depends on how nice you are to me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, look, I don't plan.
Am I the greatest?
No, I'm not.
Well, your ass ain't getting no better. Yo, once again, this is The Discussion. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. If it's your first time tuning in, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get your notifications each and every time we drop some new content.
That's right. That's right.
And if you feel charity in your heart and you want to make a donation, a pledge to the show that'll go towards worthy, what's the word? Worthy
causes,
worthy
man.
causes, like hoodies for the homeless.
Indeed, man. So look, man, we want y'all to, donate to the show, man, because look, it's important, man, for the community, not just for us. This is not just a thing that's for us. We ready to get out in the community and step out and do some things. So y'all, step in, help your peoples out, baby.
So is the PayPal pinned above?
The PayPal is already up, baby.
So if you do not have PayPal, you can also make your pledge or donation via Cash App at $CJ Dove and $23.
A Rick, which is the only time, man, you get to say my real name, man. I get to call me by my real name. Otherwise, just call me, man. E, man.
So what's the note, man? What you ready for?
I'm ready for that classic, man. It's been a minute. We ain't been in here today, man. And I'm just ready to get down with the get down. We got a lot to discuss today.
Well, the classic of the day comes from some brothers from Jamaica, Queens.
Okay, who you got, baby?
Do the name speak nice? Freaky Ty.
Ooh, Pretty Lou.
Pretty Lou.
Oh man, come on, man.
And my main man, Mr. Cheeks, coming to mind.
I need to show that name Renee. Hey. I'm looking for Renee still. So Renee, if you out there, baby, holler at me.
So the classic of the day comes from the Lost Boys, and this right here was one of, this right here used to be our club music.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I hear people saying that, they making songs for the radio and stuff like that. I've never agreed with that stance.
Right.
I think you make the music hard. Like sometimes you might feel like partying, but that don't mean you making it for the radio. This is just the type of music you like to party to.
Right.
But I think when you put that over your head, you putting too much pressure on yourself.
Right.
Because everybody might not like that record. So is it really for the radio?
I mean, if everybody don't like it,
that's what I'm saying.
So,
But this right here was our club music. I've never really been into the pop side of things, but this particular group, they made a lot of records that it made me get out on the dance floor and dance. So shout out to the Lost Boys.
Shout out, baby.
And the particular record that I'm gonna give y'all today Once again, another one of my personal favorites back in the days when we was diddy bopping up in the club. This is the Lex Coops, Beamers, boys, Lex Coops, Beamers, and the Benz.
And to all of my fly ladies and their friends, keep your head up.
Keep your head up to the hood.
East Coast, West Coast, worldwide. Yo, that was an international. They had an international sound. Those dudes was dope. They would like that.
Yeah, they definitely had. They found their lane and they did it well, man. And it was you know, shout out to I think Pretty Lou and Spig Knight still in prison.
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't even know they was in prison.
Yeah, they pulled a jokes and got caught up. This was after the fact, which goes to show you, as popular as that group was, and as much money they probably made for one of those record labels, it's sad to know that they had to resort to those types of things.
Right, back to a life of crime.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
It's sad, man.
And it's like, see, the record companies just was stealing all the money, taking all the money. You wasn't getting big, huge percentages and things like that like they do now. That's why I celebrate the independent artists right now. For grinding, doing their thing, not letting nobody steal from them. And that's why they have such a hard time getting in the door, because labels try to keep them out the door. But they building their brand and they follow them before they ever get to the record company door. You know what I'm saying? So,
and that's the whole fact right there. So, which leads us into the, topic of the day.
Woo! A harsh topic. Well, it ain't harsh, but this is a good one.
Nah, ain't nothing harsh about it.
It's good. It's a good one. No, I ain't talking about like what happened. I'm just saying, like,
But what I say, some people may think it's harsh.
Well, I mean,
because I'm prepared to go all the way there today. But it's like I'm just getting my voice back.
Listen, you may be justified with what you're ready to say today.
Like I'm just getting my it's like my voice still is not projecting. Right. But I feel as close as it's been in a minute. You know what I mean? So with that being said, R. Kelly.
Right. Oh man. Old Kels. The Pied Piper.
That nigga.
The Pied Piper.
Yeah, that guy right there.
So what's going on, man?
Well, I mean, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to that. So, what I will do is go back to the New York Times.
Okay, look, before we go back to the New York Times, so basically his trial ended. Was it this week?
Yes.
His trial ended this week and he was found guilty on all counts.
On all counts.
And faces life.
In prison.
All right, so let's run the story.
R. Kelly is found. This is via the New York Times.
Okay.
And this was published on September 27, 2021. Mr. Kelly's conviction marked a stunning fall for a man who was once the biggest name in R&B music. It came after the first Me Too era trial in which most of the victims were indeed black women.
Right.
The conviction of R. Kelly on all 9 counts against him came as a significant moment in the Me Too movement for both black women and for the music industry, ushering in a sense that finally justice had been served. But the verdict on Monday also prompted an obvious question. Women have said that the singer's abuses began as early as the start of the 90s.
Wow.
Why did it take 3 decades for the singer to receive criminal punishment?
Man.
Here are a few possible answers via the New York Times. The entertainer had an expensive network of enablers around him, federal prosecutors said, from the closest confidants and employees to many in the music industry who knew of the concerns of his behavior but did not choose to intervene.
Right.
The government also drew attention to what has been described as the settlement factor that kept his accusers quiet, offering evidence of Mr. Kelly's payments to women who made accusations in exchange for their silence. And when that was not enough, Mr. Kelly used his henchmen to lodge off threats and exact revenge, blackmailing women with nude photographs of themselves or embarrassing information. One prosecutor, Elizabeth Ghetto, said in her closing arguments.
Elizabeth Ghetto?
Ghetto.
Oh, get him.
Federal prosecutors also accused Mr. R. Kelly of paying witnesses to not cooperate with the authorities in the lead up to his 2008 trial and acquittal. They said the singer let some witnesses know that they could be the subject to physical harm if they proceeded.
Wow.
There are some cultural factors that may have helped Mr. Kelly avoid consequences of his behavior as well. As you guys can see, these are all things that came out during this trial.
Right.
And, you know, I've been on record. I've done a whole show about R. Kelly. So,
right.
If you follow me, you know why I stand there with this.
Right.
I do believe, it is my belief, that he was railroaded this time.
Well, R. Kelly?
Yes.
That he was railroaded this time?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's not to say that he should not be in prison for life for his past transgressions. But what they chose to do this time, I think was wrong.
As far as what was wrong? Like,
those witnesses' statements were falling apart.
Okay.
They basically, you know, I'm not gonna say the Bill Cosby treatment, but they definitely perpetuated a certain narrative that, you know, some of these things just are plain ridiculous that they found him guilty of.
Right.
Excuse me. Maybe some of the charges, maybe. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, a lot of these are they are accusations on steroids. Basically, what they are. They beefed them up to make it appear a certain way in court. And also used their leverage with, you know, his past case and the underage girl thing. But, you know, like I said, this time I do believe he was railroaded.
So did they literally, they had evidence though, right? Hard evidence against him?
No.
They didn't have any hard evidence against him? See, because I didn't follow the trial, I didn't even watch it.
See, the thing is, if you want to consider it hard evidence, if there is somebody who can present a letter with a threat from an unknown assailant to say, I received this on my doorstep, and if you don't fall in line, this is what it's going to be. Does that make it the truth?
No.
I mean, it was a lot of that type of energy.
It could have been a false letter.
Right.
But look, let me just say this, because I don't want to compare this to a lot of the other cases that we've been getting, because look, I do think that some of the things that are against him are in fact true. I just think that sometimes it went on so long. Look, I do believe he's guilty of a lot of the stuff he's done, as far as when it comes to the underage women. But I don't know, how do you keep an adult or somebody caged? I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't even know. Is that even possible? Like, for him to, like, you know, they had people coming out saying that he was keeping them. You remember the incident where the parents were calling everyone, calling the authorities, saying that their daughter was stuck and she was with R. Kelly and she couldn't get away. And the daughter came out with the video saying that I'm not stuck, I'm over here at my own free will, you know, and things like that. Like, how, I mean, do you think that those things are, do you think that R. Kelly forced her to do that or say that? Because look, I have so many mixed emotions that I just don't know.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, can you? It's like you want to empathize with some of these women, but at the end of the day, it's grown people making grown people decisions.
Yes, but and specifically, I'm talking about the underage women, because that's what I have a problem with.
But see, and that's the thing about it, and that's the difference between this trial and the other trial. This trial, it was more like overage women saying that he started abusing them when they were underage. And you follow what I'm saying?
And they stayed with him for that long.
Exactly.
But see, listen, and then look, in that situation, I'm not saying that you can't get into, especially if they're underage, they're children. If you can get into a child's mind, you know, good and well, especially a teenager, you can influence them and convince them to do just about anything, or say just about anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to believe it was one of those type of things. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of things, and then it carried on. You know what I'm saying? As through the adult years. So I'm just saying, look, that can happen. You know, he probably clotheslined their minds or something. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I don't know. I'm just having. I didn't follow the trial. I don't want to say that. Look, anytime you deal with underage women and you're a grown man, I mean, you way out of pocket. You way out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? So and then if these accusations have been brought to the court, like you said, 30 years, they're waiting for 30 years, 3 decades to actually convict this guy. Have there been any complaints made? I go back to the Aaliyah thing.
Right.
That's where I feel like it started for me.
But that's why I say what I say. And I don't want people to get it misconstrued what it is that I'm saying here. I'm not saying that like me personally, I don't listen to R. Kelly.
Right.
I don't support R. Kelly in no type of way. Because I am fully aware that he was guilty the first time around.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is this time, a lot of the stuff that he was up against was really ridiculous, and you know, it was a vendetta, and it was plain to see that they had a vendetta against him.
Right, and then the court of public opinion is what really convicted him this time, because you got to think, you got jurors up there that just already been hearing this for years and years and years. I mean, come on. You're not going to tell me that you're not going to go back when you go home, watch video, listen to some of the things that's been said or some of the accusations that's brought against him. So I do think that, look, the verdict at some point could have been biased as far as that part is concerned. As far as I'm concerned, look, messing with underage women, if they can prove that and they do that, look, I say go for it, shoot for that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's important. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I just really don't know all the ins and out about this because I haven't followed it. I just knew what happened. I know some of the things that happened, and it's just something I didn't follow it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't play his music anymore. I don't want to contribute to what he has going on. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the problem that I have right now. That's what we're dealing with a lot in our society right now.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of people who say, you know, they're able to separate the man from the music.
How?
That's a good question. There is no entity, there is no business, there is no person, no man, no woman,
Right.
that is above my principles and my morals and what I stand
Right.
for. And I don't care how good their music is. I don't care how good their sandwich is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like a lot of people are basically what they're saying is they're aware that somebody committed a heinous act against a child.
Right.
But because I love that song,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
But you're enabling a child molester when you do that. You're giving him money. You're putting money in his pocket, money in his whatever it is, and it allows him to continue to do what he's been doing. That's just how I see it. You know what I'm saying? I can't contribute to that. I can't contribute to you knowing that you've messed with underage women or been with underage women, clothesline some of these girls' mind, and then when they became adults that they just were confused, really didn't know which way to go. Because look, let me tell you, it's not easy for a woman to come forward with these type of accusations. Now it's a little easier, but you know, before it wasn't like that. Look, I'm gonna call no names, but I know people that's really close to me or that's been through stuff like that, and they didn't want to say anything because they had children.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to be fired from their job or some things like that, of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So they wasn't willing to say nothing because they knew how they would be treated or looked at. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, sometimes it's like, hey, why are you wearing this? Why are you coming around with this on? Well, you shouldn't have been dressed like that. Look, people can dress how they want to dress. It don't mean they want to do nothing.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So look, all these things play a part in that, and I think that we're forgetting a lot of those things. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say with the whole R. Kelly situation, man, look, I can't support his music. I mean, look, I ain't say he was a heck of an R&B singer. You know what I mean? I don't know him personally. You know what I'm saying? But those things that they say he's doing, and like with the Aaliyah situation, this is why a lot of this is believable. You know what I'm saying? Because of the Aaliyah situation, we knew that this was a real situation, right? So I'm just saying R. Kelly showed history. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's what they was going on. Look, he has a history of this type of behavior.
All it took for me was the interview. You know what I'm saying?
Which one? The Gayle King?
No, the interview he did with Torre. And at that point, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Up to that point, I tried.
I don't think I remember the interview.
Well, he did an interview with Torre when he was working with BET, and Torre asked him specifically. He said, "Do you like underage girls?" Now, me, and maybe I'm not even 30 at that point when that interview came out. Maybe mid-20s or something like that.
Damn, that long ago?
Yeah, it was that long ago. But when he asked the question, anybody that's a man who don't, I would find that offensive. Right. Personally,
I would too.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody asked me, yo, do you mess with underage girls? You know what I mean? As a man, I'm going to be offended by that.
Right.
That man's response was, how old are we talking?
Oh man, see, see that, and this, you know, just stuff like that. You know what?
And from that point, I knew in my heart, like, he guilty, man. You know what you
see? That's arrogance. That was an arrogant statement.
But once again, now I want to distinguish the difference between the two. Now, this particular time, we're talking about grown women,
right?
Even one of these women who turned on him,
right,
went on the Gayle King show with him, and we all heard what she said. She had his back and everything.
Right.
She gonna ride with him. He ain't never do that, and all this, that, and the third. Right. Now, at that point, you're in front of you're on national TV.
Right.
You're with Gayle King.
Right.
You're with the Me Too movement.
Right.
You have all these things in place.
Right.
At that point, what is there holding you back? And that's the part that I have issues with some of these women, because I'm just like, okay, with everything that's going on, let's not act like the black woman is at the bottom of the totem pole here and still fighting and scrapping and for every little piece they get. Now, I'm not saying that black women don't work hard. All I'm saying is the fear factor, it gotta be different in 2021 than it was in 1985 or 1995.
It is, as you see with the Me Too movement.
Exactly. So the fear of losing my job, the fear of certain things, it shouldn't be as prevalent today as it was years ago.
Right. But you know, they still are looked at different, like in the communities. When people see them, they looking like, you know what I mean? And I guess that may be the part that's hard for most women. You know what I'm saying? To come forward and, you know, so like I say, look, I'm just telling you, I know women that have been through situations like this, and it was terribly hard.
And I do too.
For them to come forward.
Right.
I mean, and it was years later when they actually came forward. This was before Me Too movement and all of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, look, I don't know what women go through when it comes to that, or why it's. Well, I could probably name a few things why it may seem hard to come forward. You know, being looked at a certain way or being judged a certain way, being pointed at a certain way.
I mean, this goes for all women, not just black women.
Yeah, this goes for all women.
But some of this stuff just be ridiculous. Like, take the Bill Cosby situation. Homegirl, she claimed she got raped by Bill Cosby, woke up with her clothes going and all of that.
Right.
He gave you some pills that you didn't know what were. And you asked him what they were. He said, those are your friends. Okay, I'm going to take them anyway. And then not only does that happen, he rapes you. You get up and you have brunch with him, breakfast, and then you go back to Toronto or Ontario or wherever the hell she was from. Right. And then come back again.
Right, so hold on. Let me stop.
With her parents this time.
So let me stop you. So she asked him what kind of pills they were. He said they're your friends.
Yeah, that's what she said. He said.
Oh, Bill, man, come on, Bill.
I know you not gonna sit up here and be like, come on, Bill, come on, that chick.
Well, look,
Andrea Constant or whatever her name is. She's the one that need to come. Like, for real, Miss Constant, really? You leave, you go home, you come back, and not only do you come back,
you bring your parents to meet this great guy.
Back to meet the man.
To meet this great guy.
The next time.
He has to be a great guy if you brought your parents all the way back from Toronto to meet him.
So it's like, for me, man, it's like I want to empathize with the women. I really do. But a lot of things in this R. Kelly trap, this time, let me keep reiterating that. This time, they just weren't right and exact, and they railroaded that man this particular time because a lot. I mean, they got him for racketeering. Like, I mean,
racketeering.
Yeah, that was one of the charges.
Racketeering.
Yeah.
See, that's gonna get him off right there on appeal.
I don't know.
Yeah. Listen,
I don't know.
Listen, the appeal process is way different than the trial process, and I'm telling you because I've been through this. The appeal process is way different. You know what I'm saying? So there's all types of violations that you can uncover and find during the appeal process. You know what I'm saying? So look, I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to win this appeal, but I'm saying it's a pretty good chance or pretty good shot that he will get another trial because he was convicted of all charges. And I'm just like, why the racketeering charge?
Okay, this is also via the New York Times. R. Kelly is said to be sentenced at 10 a.m. on May 4th by the same federal judge who oversaw his racketeering and sex trafficking trial in Brooklyn. Mr. Kelly, 54, faces 10 years to life in prison. The intervening months will be busy. In the next few weeks, Mr. Kelly's lawyers can file motions seeking to overturn the verdict. Mr. Kelly also faces charges in at least 2 other states, including federal child pornography and obstruction counts in Chicago. That trial has been postponed several times, and a new date has not been set. The court conference in that case has been set for October the 20th.
They're gonna make sure he don't. If he beat one, he gonna catch another one. You know what I'm saying? That's how.
I'm trying to say.
But that's how our government plays. If you're not aware of the legal system, this is how it plays out. If you get away on this, I'm gonna get you, put you on all this, and I'm gonna make it hard for you to get back in on appeal. I'm gonna make it work. By the time you get back in court on appeal, it'll be 15 years later. I'm saying 20 years later. That's how they see it, and that's how the system is designed and set up. It's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, this one is it's bad, man.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the one to sit here and defend that because you know I feel like he should be in there, but it's not based on this trial. It's just based on he's a freaking pedophile, man. And it's been proven that he was a pedophile years ago. Right. This time they just using.
We got to get him on something. We gonna lock him up.
Well, it's the Me Too movement flexing a muscle, and that's the issue I have with this, man. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even want to keep.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying that didn't play. The Me Too movement didn't play a part in all of this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just.
It's like volume is convicting people.
Right.
Volume is convicting people, even when they have no evidence. Somebody can say, "Yo, CJ raped me when I was 13."
Right.
And I could be held for something liable
right now because they said
because they said it.
Right.
And then you go through the ringer and it comes out if it's not true. Then what?
Right.
My image is still damaged.
Right.
And you can't go back and sue these people. They don't have nothing.
Right.
You understand? It's like, so if my image is gonna take a beating.
Right. It is. Even if you get off. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to hire you. But my thing is this, like, when it comes to these situations, I think that we should spread these things and make sure that we're applying the same thing that we're applying to R. Kelly and people like that, Bill Cosby, all these people. We have to be applied around the board, across the board, right? Because you can become president and be a sexual predator now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna always take that because people sit back and they'll say, well, R. Kelly this, Bill Cosby this, Bill Cosby that. But I mean, they won't never say that they went to the voting poll and marked off a check box for a president that's a sexual predator. You know what I'm saying? We have politicians that's sexual predators. I mean, look, for God's sakes, we let child molesters out of jail and prison with a slap on the wrist. I mean, you get to walk free and do all these things. I say, look, the same trial you put R. Kelly and you put Bill Cosby and other people through, put some of the same. Put Cuomo on trial. Y'all got him out of office, put him on trial. You know what I'm saying? Trump out of office, put him on trial.
But you know what though?
Bring those women back, all those women back, and let's keep the same energy. But I'm just saying,
but see, this is where it's like I don't like that shit getting lost in racial bullshit.
But it's just the truth. It's gonna get lost in that.
But to
Look,
me, it don't matter
you can't
because
hide
that
it.
cannot overshadow the fact.
Can't hide it.
Okay, but that's America.
Right, that's
We
all I'm saying.
know we know where we live at. We know
Right.
what this country's about.
Right.
We already know that they're gonna go harder on us than they do
Right.
they own.
The system is designed,
It's designed that way.
to punish
But
black
why does that matter when this nigga's still a pedophile?
It doesn't matter, but all I'm saying is, look, let's just make sure that everyone is held to the same standard.
But that's
all I'm
not
saying.
gonna happen.
I agree. I agree
It's
with
not
you
gonna
on that.
happen.
Listen, I agree with you on that, and that's why I'm saying. That's why when a lot of people, look, I'm just saying, you go out and you again. Go out, you vote a president in, these people in Congress in, and they child molesters, they assault women, and they come out and tell you that they've assaulted women, and nothing happens.
But let's put it. I say this.
That's all I'm saying.
And all I'm saying is this.
All fairness, keep it fair.
Hold on, I'm keeping it fair, and this is as fair as it's gonna get with me. Lock his ass up, put his ass away, and then let's talk about how Kevin Spacey or Harvey Weinstein got treated different. But let's not let the racial overtone overshadow that this man is still a fucking
Listen,
pedophile.
I agree with you.
Pardon my language.
Listen, it's not going to overshadow that. It's not going to overshadow that.
But when you see,
but I'm just saying,
all
look,
I'm saying,
let's make it fair.
But when you see it up and down your timeline, okay, this is going on. The man ain't even got a sentence yet. And you start seeing, well, they ain't do this to this person, they ain't do that to that person.
Right.
That's like saying,
They should
okay,
let Kelly go.
what
No, we're not saying let Kelly go. So don't think that. I don't think that that's what people saying. I don't think people are saying let Kells go. Kel should be locked up for what he did. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be locked up. He should be punished. Well, all I'm saying is that same energy that we're using towards, and that's geared towards these people, let's gear it towards everyone. The system should be designed to be fair. But like you say, and like I know, and you know, it's not going to be fair. So that still doesn't mean we shouldn't say it. We still should say it. R. Kelly should be punished for what he did. To the extent, I'm just not really sure.
And I'll take it a step further. And this is semi-personal. And if you feel some type of way about what I'm about to say, I don't care. Because I ain't got to deal with none of y'all. But it's right. Like this, yo. For real, this is just showing me, seeing how people are reacting to this. I wouldn't trust you around my children. I already know when it comes time to revolt, revolution, or whatever the case. It's like this is showing me who I can stand with. People, if you stand on your morals and you got principles and you got values, you know what I mean? There is no way humanly possible that you can look at this and say, yo, I don't care, I'm still listening to R. Kelly.
Right, I can't listen to his music.
What the hell would make you say that?
Right, I can't do that. I don't even feel right doing it on the inside. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel right. It's a conscience thing for me. I just generally don't feel right listening to music or supporting someone's music that is a child molester and a pedophile.
Get here with that, man.
I don't like that. You know what I mean? But and at the same time, and when I say, hey, keep it all fairness, I'm not just pointing the finger and saying let's excuse what he did. I'm just saying, look, let's just make sure that when it comes to incidents like this, when they occur, let's treat them all the same. Let's scrutinize it the same. Let's break it down and unpack it the same. That's all I'm saying. I mean, look, I'm not excusing what he did. What he did is wrong, and I do believe that he did mess with underage girls, even because it goes back to Aaliyah. He absolutely did, and he should be punished for that. And look, people that do that are sick. Right, so look, me personally, I think that these things should take a significant. It should have a significant amount of time.
And they even, you know,
can't walk the streets.
Yo, like there are things going on right now where they are trying to damn near legalize pedophilia.
Yeah, and that's crazy. And listen, I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna say this right here, bro. I've been in some places where it was a lot of pedophiles. And I mean, just to see how they're treated or to see how they're catered to in those positions, to see how quickly they're like released back into communities, into society. You know what I'm saying? These things, right? We're not coming up with common sense law. You know what I'm saying? To actually punish people in an equitable way.
That's a fact.
We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So we're taking. I think that a pedophile is worse than a drug dealer, but your corporate America don't seem to think so. Right? Politicians don't seem to think. People in politics don't seem to think so.
They just want to throw the drug dealer.
Right, but you gotta understand the history is,
and they trying to make excuses for pedophilia
because you have people in Congress that deal with that actually is involved in sex trafficking of children and things like. I'm not gonna go all into details, and this is not something that I'm making up. I've actually sat beside people that are in politics that's, you know what I mean, with these type of charges and crimes. You know what I'm saying? So this is not something that I'm just saying or just spewing out just to be spewing out. These things are true. It's correct. They get treated a certain way. You know what I'm saying? They all should be punished severely. When it comes to our children, and we always say, remember the song growing up in school when you used to have to say in music class, I believe the children are the future. Teach them well, that Whitney Houston and all that. Like, look, are we gonna hold that to that? We're gonna hold. We need to keep that standard. Because if we believe that the children are our future, if we believe that the children,
did you just try to sing this song?
No, I did, but I'm just saying, if we believe that the children are our future, then why aren't we protecting them more?
That's a fact.
So this goes back to politics. It goes back to politicians. It goes back to law. It goes back to all those things, and it goes back to we gotta go back and start looking at these and just come up with common sense law that will prevent these things from happening. You know what I'm saying? We need law that will mitigate these type of things. You know what I'm saying?
You leave it up, stepdaughter.
You know, so
no, all the way.
You know, and but yeah, it's just crazy to see, man. And I'm telling you, I don't like what I'm seeing or how these things are transpiring. Look, I don't like you if you're a pedophile. I'm just gonna come out and say it on live. I don't like you if you're a pedophile. I don't like you if you mess with children. You know what I'm saying? What you do with grown folks in your bedroom is your business. But when it comes to kids and you're doing these things, look, I don't want to be involved with that. I don't want to be a part of your music. I don't want to be a part of nothing you have going on. That's just my take about it. I don't care who you are. You could be black, white, green. You could be the president, or you could be a guy that just takes garbage out, work for the city, and picks up garbage every morning. If you do that, then you should be punished, and you should be punished severely. And hey, that's just how I see it. So,
and just like I said, man, I made a post about that yesterday or the day before, where I basically said, there's a lot of immoral people. And there's a difference between, being immoral and immoral. I think the majority of the people who are saying the stuff they're saying, they don't really realize what it is that they're saying. And it's my job to educate them on exactly what that is.
Right.
We got to get smarter and really understand the severity of this thing as a whole.
Right.
We don't want to support pedophiles.
Right.
I don't care what type of, and all that. It was a statement that DLU made where he said something to the effect of, America been beating us down for years, but we still listening to the national anthem, and you know what I mean? I've heard a few people throw that out there. Who in the hell is supporting the national anthem?
I don't know, not me.
America, last time I checked, is a land.
Right.
If you know an individual who did something to whip black women, rape black women, black boys,
right,
black whatever.
Right.
If you are aware that that person committed those acts, you're not going to support them.
Right.
But when you just say, America did this, America ain't do nothing. America's a land.
It's a land.
Point to certain individuals and say this is what they did. Mm-hmm. And then see what the level of support be like.
Right.
We got to get over this. R. Kelly does not deserve a bit of support. The only people that should be supporting R. Kelly is his closest family members. Because that's what it would be for me.
Right.
If it was my brother, that's my brother, I love him, but you a foul nigga.
Right.
I still love you.
Right.
But you deserve to be where you at.
Right. I agree.
I send you a kite because I love you.
Right.
But I'm not empathetic towards you being in prison.
Right, because listen, you can't go around doing this to underage kids. That's just a no-no, right? You screwing up people's minds, messing with them. You don't know how that affects them and carries on with them for their life. They have to carry that. They have to walk with that. And look, to some degree, or to a lot of degree, they carry in shame. You know what I'm saying? Or acting as, or feeling as, not gonna say acting, or feeling as if they the ones that done something wrong.
Right.
You do nothing wrong by exposing people like this. If people do these things, expose them.
Right.
That's what I say.
And we have an interesting comment right here, and I like it. I like what he just said. Shout out to James Henry, who says Charlemagne on the radio raped a woman and is still talking about it.
Right, that's true.
And you are absolutely right. I don't support Charlemagne. Nothing he do. I don't watch none of his shows.
His new show he got. I seen the commercials. I don't watch it either.
None of it.
Right.
It's like when I wipe my hands with you, and if I feel like you were foul, even though now there are vast differences between Charlemagne's case and R. Kelly's.
Right.
I think Kwame Brown did a great job bringing all of that to light. So if you missed it and want to catch up on it, Kwame Brown got an interesting take on that.
Post it. Did you post it?
Yeah, it was a while back. It was months ago. But if you missed it, you should check out his spill. And I basically kind of feel the same way that Kwame Brown does about that particular situation.
What did he say? What Kwame say?
Basically, he told the whole story, where. So you don't know anything about his situation?
What you talking about?
Charlemagne.
Yeah, I do. We talked about it on the show a few months ago. Him.
Right. Him and some of his buddies. They had a party and there was some underage girls there. The girl went to the party. What Kwame Brown highlighted was the fact that Charlemagne had established a relationship with this young lady beforehand.
Oh, okay. Before she came to the party.
Before she came to the party, and it's kind of like one of those questions. So, why are you hanging out with? I want to say she was 14, 15 years old, something like that.
How do you establish a relationship with a 14 or 15
So why are you hanging with this girl? Why are you bringing her to the party? Like, what's your old ass?
Listen, you know what I'm curious to know about that? Who helped you hide this? Right, because those are the people ultimately we definitely need to be watching. The people that will hide, the people that will get in front of you and hide this situation from you. Those are the people I need to know who they are. We need to target people like that as well. Because if you will try to cover something like this up, you just as guilty.
Yeah.
You just as guilty. You know what I'm saying?
You know what that is right there.
Yeah, that's the time to go, Bill.
Shout out to Aunt Lisa.
Yo, Aunt Lisa, she don't wanna meet you.
Yeah, she do.
No.
She loves.
Huh?
I think you should call her right here while we on the show.
Why? I'm not calling her.
Just to say check.
I don't know. No.
Just say hello.
I would say hello when I go home.
Why you can't say hello?
Because I don't want you to have one up on me.
That's.
I said it earlier. I'm saying it now on the air. I don't want you to have one up on me, bro.
Whatever, man.
You know what I mean? You trying to get one up on me, that'll give you something extra to talk about when we out somewhere doing something, and you can be like, "Hey, yo,
this is."
And I'm thinking he's serious, and guess what he gonna say? You heard from your Aunt Lisa, or something like that. You know what I mean? So I ain't got time for that, bro. You know what I mean?
So, but guys, what do y'all think about the parents and the people that shouldn't pay out stuff?
They deserve to be punished as well.
They took their kids
for the people. Yeah, so let's address that too. What the question was: do people, the parents, the insiders who actually had knowledge of what was going on and let it ride?
Right.
They deserve to be punished.
So
as well.
So hold on, let me ask you this. So are you saying, or I don't know what you're saying, so let me just ask. Is it the fact that those parents knew what was going down and was paid for knowing that to be quiet, knowing what their kids were doing?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
That means that you are condoning behavior. You're letting money. Basically, you're.
So they knew that kids were having sex with they were underage having sex with a guy that's an adult person.
Correct.
Wow. So I mean, look, that's interesting because I'm all of the mindset those parents should be locked up as well.
But once again,
kids should be taken. Well, the kids grown.
This is my only issue. It's like I agree with all of these points, but the issue that I be having is Why are we discussing this right now? Let's let the man who committed the sin face his day first. And then we can talk about, well, these parents need to get it too.
Right.
And these politicians need to get it too.
Right.
And these insiders, we can talk about the racial injustice. We can talk about all of this stuff.
But you don't want to do it until he's sentenced.
Until his ass is rotten.
Well, look, he's going to ride. R. Kelly's going to ride. Rightfully so. Look, I'm going to tell you, I know people are going to say, hey, look, I believe in second chances. I believe in third chances. But look, I don't believe in pedophilia.
Why don't you, I mean, we had time, so why don't you tell the people where they can find us at?
Aunt Lisa, you can't find us on Spotify, YouTube, or any of those things, but everybody else can. Y'all can find us on iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spotify. We got 9 shows, 10 shows, I don't know how many. And look, we got some good news, some interesting news to tell you, but we ain't gonna tell you today. We're gonna come back and we're gonna celebrate this news with y'all on the show, man, because the discussion, C&E, it's not just a discussion anymore, it's C&E Media now, baby.
C&E Media Group.
So we're gonna come back and we're gonna show y'all some things and we're gonna teach y'all some things. But first, go to Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Podcast Addict, everywhere you can name, Castbox. We there and you never there, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And if you're really following us like that and you rock with C&E, man, we'll be back at 8 o'clock with Adam versus Eve. Topic today, the role that the step-parent plays in a relationship.
That's a good topic.
Yeah, so
y'all got some good stuff going on.
We going all the way there. Shout out to my Adam versus Eve cast.
Yeah, man, they going big up, big things.
Shout out to Big Bougie. Shout out to Voice. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Sataya. Shout out to Jersey.
Hey, Jersey.
Shout out to Dookie Mac. Shout out to Rob
Dookie
Digger.
Mac?
Man, mind your business.
I just asked.
Just pop in the show. Watch the show.
I do, but look, you know when I get home.
Shout out to brother.
Hold on. Listen, you know I have assignments. I have so many activities I have to do with my.
You can listen to the radio and work, right?
No, not with what I'm doing.
You can't listen to the radio?
No, not with common sense, economics, and purchasing logistics. I can't.
Well, I know you're struggling with common sense.
No, actually, this is the last week of that class, and they doubled up all the assignments for an 8-week course, and I'm gonna leave there with probably a A minus. I'm gonna leave there with an A minus.
Well, that's what it do. Every Tuesday,
cause I'm smart.
Every
like that,
Thursday, 6 p.m. is, you know, we black, so we might not be on time, but we always arrive. But we coming.
We coming, baby. And
we'll
when we come, we're gonna have them sweetie meals. You know what I mean?
So we check you guys again.
I got your sweetie meal coming.
Oh my God.
I'll be there Sunday at your house.
Yes, sir.